Holla at your boy, you on ISM TV. We're here in Brooklyn right here. And man, we have a legend that we just want to open up old school box of history and music. Would you mind telling us what family you come from and what's the history been like since then?
So my family is the Platters.
The Platters.
The lead singer of the Platters is Tony Williams. He's like one of the world's top 10 best tenors.
Gotcha.
Very humble man.
Right.
From Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Okay.
Him and Frankie Lyman.
So back in the days, 1952. This was the year, roughly.
Yeah.
When they came about, what have you. What was it like back then as far as the racial barriers, you know, getting into the entertainment back then?
So my family brought the formal thing to rock and roll, where they were wearing tuxedos and Zola Taylor was wearing gowns, and what got them over was 5-part harmony. Tony was stationed here in New York, and his sister had a hit in California, brought him over to California. He won a talent show singing Danny Boy. And that's how he met up with Buck Graham, a guy who kind of helped him get his thing together. So he got into business like that, but it wasn't easy. Yeah.
This is the era of like rock and roll, of course, back when
rock and roll, Coasters, Drifters,
yeah.
Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers.
And back then they said that Elvis Presley was still in the sound. What's your thoughts on those topics
Elvis
back
Presley,
then?
I think his name is Blackman. Elvis Presley, they say he was prejudiced. I don't know the story, but I know a black man was writing all this stuff.
Right.
I got one of the articles upstairs, and I think it's Otis Blackman is the guy's name that was doing all the writing from him. And all those moves were stolen.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those moves are stolen, man.
It's no secret either.
Yeah, so you being a tap dancer yourself. Me, I touched on some tap dancing, and from what I heard, we used to communicate with each other with drums. It started off with drums. And this is what the guy told me when he was first, when he took me up on the Brooklyn Bridge he said we was talking to, like, if we're gonna run away tonight,
right,
we would say, yeah, we're running away at 8 o'clock tonight through the drums.
Yeah.
They took the drums from us, right? So we made the steel drum. After the steel drum, they took that from us. We started talking with our feet. And I don't know, you remember, what was that? Chicken George? It cut his foot off.
Remember Chicken George, yeah.
Yeah. So basically same thing. They started threatening to cut feet off if, but we communicated. And all of the moves are stolen. They named the moves and they stole them,
Do you remember their first charting hit as musicians?
Who's that?
The Platters.
The Platters. What was his
got
first hit?
Was it Only You? That's Convinced by Gene Bennett. No, that's Tony Williams. That's Only You.
Yeah, Great Pretender, Only You, Smoke Is in Your Eyes. I'm not sure. He had hits, man.
Right.
And the reason that kept him alive was people got married to those songs.
Right.
Yeah. I remember doing a journalism paper with Rollin Smith, one of the top anchormans in New York. So Vic Miles lived in my building. Vic Miles, a black man. So I said, listen, I need a story for my final.
And familiarize me with who he is.
Vic Miles was an anchorman at what is that, CBS at the end of 50th
he was a newscaster.
Street? He's a newscaster, right. Rollin Smith was one of the top newscaster anchormen. So So Vic Miles said, nah, man, my story's a little, him being black, he said, my story's a little rough. I'll take you down to the station, you meet Vic Miles, and he would have a better story. So I told him who I was. Tony lived down the street from me. He said, what? He says, in my day, the girls had the long dresses and the bobby socks. Right. You couldn't cover their knees. Yeah. He said, so when the Platters came in, you weren't allowed to touch slow dance. Mm-hmm. He said, when the Platters came in, we were allowed to grab the girls and slow dance with them. So they loved the Platters. People got married, like I said, to these songs. So anytime they advertised, man, he was sold out. Right. And one of the most humble brothers you ever want to meet, man. Yeah.
What was it like the first time that you experienced seeing him visually? I know hearing the music back then, especially, they tapped into listening to radio a lot, but visually seeing them on TV. What was it like back then trying to get
for
to
me,
those platforms?
it was, I knew him personally. I lived with him. We were in a penthouse, right. 59th Street, Columbus Circle. And I used to dress like Jimi Hendrix back in the day, being a guitar player. Right. Right? So I think I probably started the hole in the jeans thing, and with the scarves tied outside the jeans, right? Yeah. So they would ask me, every time I would get in the elevator, you had the commercial elevator and the residence elevator. Mm-hmm. I would go to the penthouse floor, and they would go, why are you going to the roof? And for those who know that I lived there, they would go, oh, he lives here. But right. Billy D. Williams, his uncle lived there also. He taught opera. Mm-hmm. Spoke however 5 languages, right. and he taught. I guess you got to speak Italian and different things to do this opera thing.
But the question, getting back to the question, more or less, visually seeing them on TV. Do you remember the experience?
For me, it wasn't a television thing because I was there with him. You know what I mean? So it's not like me seeing him on TV.
You never seen him on TV? Never seen him on TV?
I have, but I would have been in the studio with him. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, gotcha.
And then my first experience was I lived in the Bahamas because my mom remarried and took me to the Bahamas. That's where I got introduced to the reggae.
Gotcha.
So I remember having playing the albums at the crib. And
I was more tuned to the radio, listening to more radio more than anything.
His albums.
That's what I remember more so than visually.
But I was more I wasn't into the Coasters Drift. This was more into Prince, Michael, Earth, Wind and Fire. Mm-hmm. I came through the funk era. Right. So he wasn't the man to me until I grew older and started writing my lyrics and see these is real lyrics, love songs, heavenly shade of night's falling, it's twilight time. Out of the mist your voice is calling, it's twilight time. So then
they also inducted them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1990.
Right.
One of the small, not small vocal groups, but to have an impact back then. Do you think it was a long time overdue? 1990 from 1950. Respect is due always. Giving flowers is what it is, but
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, what was your thoughts about it when they achieved that achievement?
Yeah, that was wonderful because I think we got the plaque in there right now. I know when he passed away, there was just a small article in the New York Times saying that he was a parking lot attendant. That was like devastating to the family. Right. All the great things he did. He joined the military very young. Had somebody sign him into the military before he was too young.
Right.
So he got in the military and
that's amazing.
He served his country. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So they also was the first rock and roll era group to have the top 10 album in the United States, which is huge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Being a group, they cracked the code. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Included on the American Graffiti soundtrack. That's big right there. Yeah. Early mid 1970s, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes.
Right.
The Great Pretenders.
Right.
And Only You.
Right.
Those are major songs, you know. What was it like just tapping into your journey as a musician, just following what you've been surrounded by? You know what I'm saying?
Well, he definitely helped me with my confidence. It was truly a blessing to go to concerts, meet the musicians that were around. I actually went to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see the world. I went to Japan a couple of times,
Through
Israel,
music, yeah.
and when they did other trips like Belgium and different things, they actually didn't want me to get into the music business, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they was
protecting
like,
you from it or
it's
something?
too. Yeah, they was like, it's too. It wasn't steady money, you know, and you want to do a family, you know. But yeah, I got to see the world with them, man. You know, and I was wondering, like, these people don't even speak the language. How they know these songs, man? So that was the power I saw, you know.
As far as the fans, were you ever?
They was fans. They were real fans.
What's your
bro.
first crazy experience
Yeah.
witnessing fan experience?
Well, there was nothing really crazy. They were, you know, it made me kind of like stop and go, wait a minute, I'm around greatness, you know, because I would see that glow on their face when they would talk to them. He would sign autographs. He was like I say, had I made any kind of close to the accomplishments he did with all the gold records and the things that he did, bro, I don't know, my head would have been, my ego would have been, you know, but he stayed flat-footed, man, as far as, and humble, you know.
How many times did they try to revise the group? You know,
Oh,
after?
so that ball was thrown in my uncle's court. My uncle also was in Vietnam.
What's the uncle's name? He's from Platters, right?
His name is Nathaniel Shad.
There we go.
Yeah, and he had a stroke. Yeah, so he's in the VA right now, but he didn't have that confidence, because I tried to play the music with him, and him being singing, you know, him singing, but kind of we understood how hard it was.
Yeah, because those are some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, man, we understood how hard it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ball was in his court, and people would ask, what is Tony's son doing? What is his son doing? You know? Yeah.
Did you ever have any guilt with that pressure being upon you?
What's that?
You know, having high expectations of, you know, from being the son of a musician, you know, that have people and their peers that have my expectation. Like, you ask the question, what's going on with the son? You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, is that a lot? Is that hard?
Yeah, they wasn't hearing nothing from him. You know, they wasn't hearing anything from him.
Right.
And he wasn't going in the studio. You know, I guess they wanted to hear something.
Yeah.
You know? And for me, going in the studio, it seemed like for me, just going in the studio and doing something that's not heard. You know, it's, when is it heard? You know, after coming out of the studio, how do you shop that around?
Exactly.
You know?
It's a new day and age now.
Yeah.
And being equipped around people, you know, with evolution and so forth is good. So, but
Right.
man, I definitely appreciate your time. We definitely gonna get some more Q&A with you and whatnot.
All right, bro.
And look at some of them awards and whatnot. Definitely appreciate your time, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, man.
Most definitely.
Tell us your name.
I'm Troy Johnson.
Salute to Troy, man. You on
Yeah.
Isn't TV. Salute.